The fastest way to stay broke is to look rich. Not poor, not unlucky, not uneducated, just visibly rich. Because when your life becomes a performance, your money becomes a prop. You upgrade the car before you upgrade your skills. You upgrade the apartment before you upgrade your assets. You upgrade the watch before you upgrade your discipline. And slowly, without realizing it, you build a lifestyle that demands income you don't yet have. Here's the uncomfortable truth. Most people don't go broke chasing wealth. They go broke chasing the appearance of wealth. My name is Aiden. And today, I want to explain why the desire to look rich is one of the most expensive psychological traps in modern America, and how the people who actually build wealth think in the exact opposite way. The performance trap. Imagine two 28-year-olds in the same city. One leases a luxury car, wears designer brands, lives in a high-rise downtown, posts vacation photos from Miami. The other drives a 5-year-old Toyota, lives slightly below their means, invests aggressively, rarely posts anything flashy. If you met them for 5 minutes, you'd assume the first one is rich. Statistically, you'd probably be wrong. Because what you're seeing isn't wealth. It's consumption. And consumption is loud. Real wealth is quiet. This is what psychologists call signaling behavior. We use visible markers, clothes, cars, locations, to signal status to other people. It's ancient, evolutionary, tribal. In a tribe, high-status members had better access to resources. So humans evolved to display status in visible ways. The problem? In modern America, status symbols are available on credit. You don't need wealth to look wealthy. You just need financing. And financing flips the entire game upside down. Instead of assets producing income, you produce income to pay for liabilities that produce validation. Let that sink in. The system rewards the appearance of success before the substance of success. Social media amplifies it. Advertising normalizes it. Peer pressure reinforces it. And the brain loves it. Because every time someone notices your upgrade, even subtly, your brain releases dopamine. A small hit of validation. The car isn't transportation. It's approval. The watch isn't timekeeping. It's reassurance. The high-end apartment isn't shelter. It's identity. And identity is powerful. Once your identity becomes the successful one, you'll do almost anything to protect that image, including sabotaging your financial future. This is why trying to look rich is so dangerous. It's not about the money. It's about who you believe you are. And once you start spending to defend an image, you're no longer building wealth. You're renting status. And rented status is the most expensive subscription you'll ever sign up for. The invisible advantage. There's a strange pattern you start to notice when you study people who are actually wealthy. They don't look the part. In fact, some of the most financially independent individuals in America dress normal, drive normal cars, live in homes that don't scream for attention. It's not accidental. It's strategic. Researchers like Thomas J. Stanley, co-author of The Millionaire Next Door, found that most millionaires in the U.S. don't live flashy lives. They don't overspend on status symbols. They prioritize assets over appearances. Because real wealth isn't about what you can show. It's about what you can't see. Assets, equity, ownership, optionality. Here's the mental shift. People who want to look rich think in terms of monthly payments. People who want to be rich think in terms of net worth. That single difference changes everything. When you focus on payments, you ask, can I afford $900 a month? When you focus on net worth, you ask, what is this $900 doing to my future freedom? One mindset optimizes for impression. The other optimizes for independence. And independence is quiet. It doesn't post. It compounds. Think of wealth like planting trees. The look rich mindset buys artificial plants. They look good instantly. No waiting. No patience. No growth. The be rich mindset plants real trees. For a long time, nothing dramatic happens. Just watering. Just discipline. Just consistency. Then one day, you wake up in the shade. And the people who mocked your boring choices start asking for advice. This is the invisible advantage. Delayed validation. Most people can't tolerate it. They need proof now. Recognition now. Lifestyle upgrades now. But wealth rewards the opposite personality trait, patience. And patience is psychologically uncomfortable. Because while you're building in silence, someone else is performing success loudly. And your brain whispers, maybe you're falling behind. That whisper is dangerous. Because it's comparing visible consumption to invisible accumulation. And those are not the same race. The person leasing the luxury SUV might feel ahead. But the person accumulating assets is buying time. And time, not cars, not watches, not penthouses, is the real luxury. The freedom to leave a job. The freedom to take a risk. The freedom to rest. The freedom to say no. That's wealth. And none of it needs to be posted. The identity shift. Here's where it gets deeper. Trying to look rich isn't really about money. It's about insecurity. When someone overspends on status, they're not buying objects. They're buying certainty. Certainty that they matter. Certainty that they're winning. Certainty that they're not invisible. In psychology, there's something called identity-based behavior. We don't act based on goals. We act based on who we believe we are. If you see yourself as someone who is successful, you'll buy things that reinforce that image. But here's the trap. If your identity is built on external validation, your spending will always chase applause. And applause is expensive. Think about it. If your confidence depends on what people see, then every room becomes a stage. You need the better shoes, the better watch, the better vacation story. You're not living. You're curating, and curation costs money. Now contrast that with someone whose identity is internal. Someone who sees themselves as, I'm an investor, I'm a builder, I'm someone who plays the long game. That person doesn't need visible proof every week. Their confidence comes from progress, not perception. This is why truly wealthy individuals often seem calm. They're not competing in the same arena. Most people are competing in the arena of optics. The wealthy compete in the arena of ownership. Ownership is boring to watch, but powerful to hold. There's another psychological concept at play here: delayed gratification. In the famous Stanford marshmallow experiment, kids who could wait for 2 marshmallows instead of eating one immediately tended to have better life outcomes years later. Now apply that to adulthood. The look rich mindset eats the marshmallow. The be rich mindset waits. But waiting isn't passive. It's disciplined. It's saying, I don't need to look impressive today if it costs me freedom tomorrow. And that's hard in a culture that monetizes attention. Social media algorithms reward the visible. Ads target your insecurities. Credit makes everything instantly accessible. You can look like you've made it before you've built anything real. And that illusion feels powerful. Until the bills arrive. Until the pressure builds. Until your lifestyle becomes a cage you have to keep feeding. This is the quiet tragedy of trying to look rich. You end up financially trapped in the very image that was supposed to make you feel powerful. Real wealth feels different. It feels boring at first. It feels underwhelming. It feels invisible. But invisibility is a superpower. When no one expects you to be flashy, you're free to build without pressure. When you're not funding a performance, you can fund investments. When you're not protecting an image, you can protect your future. And that shift, from performer to builder, is where everything changes. Redefining rich. There's a moment that happens quietly in the lives of people who build real wealth. They stop asking, how do I look? And they start asking, how free am I? That question changes your spending overnight. Because once freedom becomes the metric, the game flips. A luxury car might impress strangers, but a 6-month emergency fund buys peace. A penthouse might signal success, but equity in businesses, index funds, or real estate buys options. And options are power. This is why so many self-made investors and founders, people like Warren Buffett, live far below what they could afford. Not because they have to, because they don't need the signal. When your net worth speaks, your wardrobe can whisper. But here's the part no one talks about. Looking rich is addictive. Being rich is repetitive. One gives you short bursts of dopamine. The other gives you long-term control. And control is quieter than dopamine. It's the ability to walk away from toxic work. The ability to invest when others panic. The ability to take a year off without fear. The ability to choose. That's rich. So if you want to build wealth in your 20s, 30s, even your 40s, especially in a culture that constantly pressures you to upgrade, here's the mental model. Don't upgrade your lifestyle at the speed of your income. Upgrade it at the speed of your assets. Let your investments grow first. Let your skills compound first. Let your margin expand first. Then, if you choose, enjoy the rewards from a position of strength, not pressure. Because when you stop trying to look rich, something unexpected happens. You start building something real. And real wealth doesn't need applause. It needs time. If this perspective challenged the way you think about money, take a second to reflect on where you might be performing instead of building. And if you want more ideas like this, thoughtful, psychology-driven breakdowns about wealth, behavior, and long-term thinking, you can like, subscribe, and share the video with someone who needs to hear it. Because sometimes the most radical financial move you can make is choosing not to impress anyone at all.